Tony, during that talk you mentioned the mnemonic FAIR, and you showed how you can apply it to situations that can be challenging from an ethical point of view. Can you just take us through it?
What we were talking about there is, we're very complex and very personal, individual kind of decision making, and we had a number of significant ethical problems. I think an ethical problem to me is when you have faced with a problem and you have two equally moral ways of going. If one is right, you've no problem. So you have two choices, and we talked about the choice of resuscitating a baby 23 weeks and 5 days or not resuscitating. So one way to help us through the thinking is to have a framework, and FAIR is an ethical framework that I learned from a book of the same name. It said "Be Fair: Ethics for Healthcare Workers," and F stands for Be Fair. So we looked at that about resuscitation of this baby at 23 weeks, possibly delivering that evening, and we said, what's fair for the baby, and what's fair for the parents? And this was after a conversation. We kind of analysed it, looked like that. So it's obviously for any baby, the only thing that's fair for them is survival, to have a life. It's their only life, Now that doesn't mean survival at all cost, because it wouldn't be always fair to have a baby survive who is not able to take part in life in a way. And then we have to be fair in terms of the parents. How much of a burden can the parents take, And so we ask these questions. We don't necessarily get solutions, but the questions are a good checklist. The A stands for autonomy, and there were a number in this scenario that we did have where based on autonomy, whether the parents could make up their own mind on their own, and if they decide not to resuscitate, should we go ahead? And what happens then, people started pushing up, well, it's maybe 28 weeks and 29 weeks, do we do what the parents? And we talked about as the baby gets in utero, gets more mature, the parental and hopefully shared decision making will be in favour of the baby's life. And if it wasn't, and the baby was a healthy baby at 25 weeks or 29 weeks, whatever, I think that our responsibility would be to apply to the courts to do what's best for the babies if we felt the parents were not in best interest. But on the other hand, when we go down to 23 and 24 weeks, the parents have more of a say, in deciding, because they will have to bear the burdens, and that area is uncertain. But I think the best way we can do, and I think you've seen in the kind of role play we had, is to, number one, promote their autonomy, which is educate, Find out what are their ideas, what are their values, what are their concerns, what's making them make this strong decision, one way or the other. And maybe involving other people, getting another doctor to see, am I hearing the same thing that she's hearing, whatever. So second opinions in terms of promoting parental autonomy and listening more. The third thing was integrity, and I think in one of the scenarios that came up along as well, did the doctor do what she said she told the parents she would do? And in order to face a very difficult situation, she didn't. She told them one thing and she did another thing. So acting with integrity is important, and that's not, it's a real, obviously important ethical principle for doctors and all healthcare work. Be honest, be truthful, say what you know. If you don't know enough, get other people involved. The last one then is interesting, seek the best results for your patients. And when we look at the babies, we say best results will be an intact survival. The baby will have a healthy life. On the other hand, survival with a disability that can be associated with a good quality of life. Many babies, when they grow up, will accept that, for themselves. We know that from many people who are born with disabilities and have very good quality of life. When the best results also for the parents, if as possible, and I think that means if we do have a disability, we have an obligation as a society then to support those babies and those families, So we just can't abandon, say, the right thing is to resuscitate, and then abandon them. So seeking the best results, and it's always a matter of balance. So ethical principles and this mnemonic, all a matter of a checklist to think, a way of balancing different principles and different difficulties. And I have found it very useful, actually, just to look at a problem with those in mind. I don't always get the right answer, but remember, the answer and the thing you do is based on the information you have right now. 10 years later, it's a different situation, and maybe that baby could have survived, and things are different. So ethical decisions are always made in the context when they happen, and you can't always change that context.
Yeah.
You have to live with it.
Fantastic. Be fair. It's one to remember.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you very much.